Coming up on today's wrestling news, a top AEW star's contract is expiring soon.
A top Impact wrestling star is about to become a free agent.
AEW made false promises to re-sign a disgruntled star.
And we've got new details on AEW's plans for The Devil.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Right, let's get straight into it then. With the AEW star whose contract is expiring soon, it is one Andrade El Idolo, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. Now, technically, AEW could conceivably add time onto his contract due to the periods he's been spent and out of action due to various injuries. Nonetheless, his expiry date is relatively soon as things stand. No decision apparently made by Andrade on his future going forward. He's believed to be returned to his old promotion, CMLL. There was like a mystery vignette that aired on their show on the 1st of December. Meltzer says that he wants to go back there. That's where he started out, of course. Returning to WWE wouldn't allow him for him to do so. He knows that he can't work Arena Mexico if he leaves AEW for WWE, hence his decision to work for CMLL again. That's for now, at least. But what do you think's in Andrade's future?
Well, you'd be naive not to rule out a possible return to Dafed, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like the reasons are kind of obvious and manifold at this point. He's got this prior working relationship with Triple H.
Of course, yeah.
Gave him his biggest platform up to this point, really. Like on the global stage, obviously, he's had huge success in Mexico and Japan, but certainly within NXT, he developed that like level of mainstream critical acclaim that he'd never had previously. A main roster run was hit and miss, but wasn't everybody's in the latter stages of Vince McMahon's, to the point where when he went to AEW, we felt like a can't miss, and yet has. I would argue it's not been a run of many great moments and matches. There's been odd flashpoints, and every single time he hits that back elbow, you wonder why Chris Jericho doesn't just retire the Judas effect there and then. Then, of course, there's a personal side. We talk a lot about pro wrestlers that like an easier life by getting to work regularly with their spouses, whether or not that's in the same brand or the same company or whatever. And, being married to Flair would presumably allow them to come together as well. So, yeah, I just think everybody will speculate, as we are now, that WWE beckons again for Andrade. But who knows? Like, this isn't, a goodbye forever for AEW, as you say. No. The contract could be extended. Talks could happen. Who knows what could occur?
Yeah, and no word in this report on his manager, CJ Perry, and how she feels about all this.
Well, I assume we'll probably get some sort of press conference from that.
Of course,
down the line. Speaking of wrestlers that will become free agents potentially, or might be, moving to pastures new, Deonna Purrazzo is about to become one for Impact Wrestling in early 2024. This is according to Fightful Select, who did indeed confirm that her contract expires and she will explore free agency. The outlet also mentioned that she, having worked with Impact for several years, is not currently looking for a new deal with them, but the relationship is very amicable and nothing is off the table. Initially, it was felt that those within Impact thought that Purrazzo would stick around. The company's about to revert to the TNA name.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a certain degree of momentum around the brand and the excitement around it. Of course, we've got the news about Kazuchika Okada heading there as well. So there's some excitement.
Ospreay's working their show in January, isn't he?
Yeah, a frisson around the brand, I guess.
It's got Trinity, for God's sake.
Indeed. But Purrazzo was kind of like one of the more credible stars of its women's division, even when sort of Impact was in the doldrums of the pandemic, like wrestling was. She was kind of making waves even then. She's been with the company since 2020 when she was released from WWE, but has absolutely raised her stock in that time. It's interesting now when a female wrestler on that level sort of has options to explore. Neither WWE or AEW are the most exciting offerings, but they are the ones that will get you the most prominence and potentially help you leverage new contracts in the future. So I think there will be a lot of speculation on where Purrazzo does next.
Yeah, you hate to say that people have to do this, but leaving WWE and going to work somewhere else hasn't often done wonders for her career. And I think, you could arguably say there's going to be a bit of a battle between AEW and WWE in an attempt to sign her if she does decide to leave what will become TNA, like you say. A nice triumphant return to WWE would be interesting. The women's division is obviously great as well in AEW. It just needs to be booked a whole lot better.
Yeah, the rosters are not short of incredible talent for her to work with, but until there's evidence on both sides that the booking improves, I don't know, maybe she wants to look at stardom, maybe she's at a point in her career where she still can do absolutely anything. And yeah, her star has risen with an impact. She's shown that she can make something of herself. She should bet on herself, and all the best to her in 2024.
And let us know in the comment section below where you'd like to see Deonna Purrazzo and Andrade end up going forward. And speaking of people leaving companies, QT Marshall, of course, announced he was leaving AEW recently. And some interesting developments about what happened there as well has come from SE Scoop's Michael Shalik, who did a report saying that apparently QT Marshall signed a short-term contract extension in August on the basis that the company would give him a bigger push as a wrestler, and obviously that never happened. QT believed he was in the best shape of his career, wanted to wrestle more rather than managing or coaching, but obviously he was heavily involved with and he was producing the show, etc., etc. He agreed a short-term contract after being promised more in-ring time. That didn't happen, obviously. Now he's going to be a free agent. I suppose technically with the whole contract thing, it doesn't apply as a free agent thing until January, but he can obviously explore options.
This sort of supports his exit statement, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He decided that he was going to leave AEW. There were two kind of key takeaways from that statement he made at the time. He said the direction of the company is not what it was once, like when he first started there. It feels like it's changed. And also, I think at 39, he wants to bet on himself.
Yeah.
He's seen plenty of other wrestlers do it, as indeed he has, and he wants to do it again and kind of like chase what he believes is his personal ceiling and, absolutely go for that as well. We sort of encourage that of all wrestlers. So this kind of backs that up, doesn't it? He was maybe thinking the opportunity might have existed in AEW, and upon seeing that it doesn't, has thought, right, now is the time.
Yeah, I said this at the time, whatever my personal feelings about wanting to see QT Marshall in the ring, I'm never going to have a go at someone for backing themselves and chasing their dreams. He could have easily sat in AEW for life and done all the various coaching, managing, producing roles that he did, but he wants to wrestle, and that's fair enough. There will obviously be at least an opportunity for him in WWE with Cody being there. I'm sure they'll listen to Cody if he puts in a good word for them. And with his multi-skill thing, I mean, how many people of WWE, I know this isn't necessarily what it wants to do, but how many people have got WWE got back there who started out as wrestlers and now wear various different hats?
Indeed, and speaking of wearing different hats, or should that be hoods, there's a bit of an update on AEW's Devil, and indeed the Devil's Rejects, those people that have been attacking the likes of the Acclaimed and nearly MJF last week, and the ones that were surrounding.
Did they attack MJF this week?
Well, indeed, the ones that there were a couple were spotted surrounding the ring on Dynamite as well. Well, for the amateur sleuths out there, of which I kind of am one, I think I'm the kind of last guy into the Devil.
Getting into it, yeah.
Keep sleuthing, basically, is the instruction, because we've got a report from Fightful Select that have confirmed. I'm going to quote this just so you can get yourself a bit more excited about all those zoomed in pictures. Quote, it was reiterated to us that as of last week, the talent that is slated to play the Devils on AEW television was still being portrayed by those under the mask. So this is not a creepers situation. This is not those extras in Retribution. The people that you are seeing on screen are very possibly the people that are going to be revealed in those characters. So let's review, shall we? So last week there was Wardlow coming out in messy hair. We've now seen
the jacked one as well.
Yeah, zooming in of the boots that baseball bat wielding Devil was wearing were Wardlow's boots. Like he was out in the ring minutes later. So if we do believe that one was Wardlow, it is actually set to be Wardlow. Similarly, there was somebody had tweaked a picture where they'd lit up the sort of black costumes they were all wearing, and it appeared that you could make out Mike Bennett and Matt Taven's faces.
I saw someone on X this morning with just a real quick loop of, they were just cutting, saying, "Oh my God, Samoa Joe's the ring's been surrounded," and they were just doing the movement. Someone was literally like, "That's how Kyle O'Reilly moves."
Exactly. So all of this speculation now is this sort of reporting is ideal for getting people a bit more whipped up into a frenzy over this, because if you are spotting body shapes and faces and boots and hair and whatever, it's very possibly these people, and you can start maybe building a story around it. Another thing on that as well, if you remember, the original shot of the Devil wasn't the spooky mask as introduced to us by Da Hacker. It was in fact a body, and it was highlighted that the frame was quite lean.
Yes.
It wasn't probably going to be this 2023 version of hench MJF.
You can rule out Powerhouse Hobbs.
Indeed. So again, maybe we can lean on this reporting again to say that whoever is that Devil is somebody with a leaner frame, and you can start looking again. Maybe those amateur sleuths can start assessing the shape of the shoulders and start.
Yeah.
Remember when the Punk clue before Survivor Series, where there was a shadow, somebody was like, "Well, it's definitely him doing that," and obviously you turned out to be correct on that one. So yeah,
it's honestly, I sometimes get really tired of being right all the time.
Do detective work, enjoy yourself. But the biggest and I think fairest criticism against this storyline was the lack of suspects and the
lack of speculation online.
Yeah, we're hitting that point now, and it feels like with World's End there's a potential payoff for all of this. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Start zooming in. Start like sort of inverting the colours and all that.
Obviously, I know who the devil is because I'm the only real wrestling journalist.
Well,
but I don't want to spoil it for everyone. But obviously, as you mentioned, there a big show coming your way later on this month because the What Culture Wrestling Podcast live show is going on our YouTube channel on Monday. We're going to be in the chat, so join us for that. What Culture Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Anyway, let's move over to your Twitter questions on your X. I never know what to bloody call it anymore. First question today comes from Crispy's Crafts, who says, "Crikey, it's a rare northern journalist, thank you very much, and the Flat Hunter. He does it in his spare time. Morning, gents. With Reigns on a part-time schedule, should WWE spring for a proper song for his entrance theme? Too bad by Nickelback, obviously. Have a great weekend."
Ordinarily, I would say why not? AEW's had some real success with their themes they've licensed, but we've all fallen in love with the head of the table, haven't we? Like
Imagine coming out to that theme. By the way, just a quick reminder, the What Culture Wrestling Podcast live show is going to be on.
Yeah, it looked so silly if you were coming out to that and you weren't Roman Reigns. What Culture live show coming Monday. I mean, I haven't even watched the show yet, but I know enough about the plot to know that the lift was probably on purpose. It's a Succession theme, isn't it?
Yes.
Pretty much. And that is all about like power and wealth and growth and all of that. And that is everything that Roman Reigns has become. I think it's as epic as any kind of like major WWE entrance ever. It will now be as associated with that Roman Reigns character as the Glass Smashers with Steve Austin, as If You Smell, and so on with The Rock. I just think they'd be mad to change that. Don't get me wrong. All in favour of licensed themes as and when they work. There are great examples, including this remastered one for Punk dropping the day before he returned at Survivor Series. That was like just a little taste. So yeah, all in favour of it typically, but not with the head of the table.
Yeah, I'd like to see it for quite a few people. Off the top of my head, I was just thinking there, who could they get and what song could they get? What about this? New tune for one. Hell, hey, no, yeah. Kid Cudi, LA Night, yeah. Just a thought.
Just a little thought. Bring back Seven Nation Army for Pat McAfee.
Oh, that was the biggest thing on night 2 of WrestleMania, wasn't it?
That's the one. Yeah, bring that back.
Robert Smith, thank you for your question.
Still enjoying Curapedia, by the way. Greatest Hits by The Cure is a nice one to spin at Christmas. Surprisingly festive sounding in places.
Robert says, I bet he's never heard that.
Sorry, Robert.
They thought this was very appropriate for you because, if I asked it to Andy, he might punch me. Seeing how Damian Priest is on his way out of the Judgment Day, could R-Truth become the newest member?
I love this.
He loves it.
I love R-Truth in the Judgment Day so much. I think the Judgment Day...
What's the deal?
I don't want to get over analytical, but... The Judgment Day had this really great run where they were trying to run Raw and the most fearsome heels and all that, and then they lost at War Games. Like, that moment has come to pass for them. Damian Priest is presumably going to at least attempt to cash in very, very soon. At some point, Priest and Balor will lose the titles. They've got now in Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough like the NWO B team of the Judgment Day, like the loser group that can get their asses kicked. Like Rhea Ripley, at some point, will probably grow tired of being a leader.
She's not suffered anything from them losing.
Exactly, like a leader of dweebs. This is the absolute right period for me for them to be having to entertain the idea of R-Truth, just assuming he's a member, like he's always in the clubhouse. I think these segments are going to be, like, they might run out of steam. These things typically do in WWE, but like, I go back to this quite a lot now, like, I wish we knew about the good old days when we were still in them. In terms of the R-Truth and the Judgment Day run, we are absolutely in the good old days. It's good stuff, this. He'll never turn heel. No. If anything, he will inadvertently turn them babyface in the same way Sami Zayn did.
Anti-corruption.
R-Truth is incorruptible.
Final question today comes from Eddie Zamhari. I thought I'd also ask you this because I know your love of the Devil storyline. Hey guys, who is your 5 worst choices for the AEW Devil?
Ooh. Well, not to be cruel or anything, but I probably would have gone for QT Marshall at one point.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
Typical stable reveal. Matt Hardy.
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan is a bad guy because of just everything that implies.
Shane, was that good or bad? I mean,
that's the funniest thing ever. Like, I want Shane McMahon in AEW.
Wait a second, that Devil's sweating an awful lot.
Yeah. That's just like, imagine Devil's doing little spinny arms things.
Should we pick 2 out here?
Go on then, yeah.
We've got 3 then, so we've got a few there.
Yeah.
We have to make the argument.
I would say Jack Perry, but then it'd just be methods, so he's probably perfect.
Another bad choice for the Devil would be...
Jeez, this is an awesome choice for the Devil. Thunder Rosa.
Oh, Jesus.
An absolutely fantastic choice for the Devil.
Right, we'll pick a different
friend
one.
of the channel.
Yeah, don't make Dante Martin the devil. He's
Yeah.
just come back.
Too nice
Huge
of-
baby
Too
face.
nice of fella. Right, what have we got here? Right, this is a good answer to this specific question because the plot hole and logic gap that would have to be explained away. If Anthony Bowens is to be the devil,
I took my licks. Put myself through a glass goddamn window.
Yeah, there's some good choices on that roster, but there's some pretty terrible ones. Tony Khan remains that they won't do it. They will not do this. But every time you see that one, and you just think a lot of people live through a lot of McMahon family members on television to think that this is the norm. It is absolutely not the norm. It was just that very abnormal family
Yes.
doing what they thought was right.
Yeah, some good, some bad. I'll tell you what's all good. This video. Bye.